Hi, my name is Sarah Federman. I just finished the doctoral program at the School for Conflict Analysis and Resolution at George Mason University. And a number of my colleagues have been asking me, how did I finish my dissertation? I get asked this question so often that I decided to sit down and actually think about how I finished it. And I put together some ideas that I thought and strategies that I thought would really help anyone finishing a dissertation, research paper, thesis, or article. So I wanted to share some of those with you today. So again, this is for anyone who's maybe you've started and you're not sure what to do next, or you've finished your research and you're sitting with it and aren't sure how to compile it, or you've compiled it but you're just not able to get yourself writing. So I wanted to talk a little about how you do that. And it's writing strategies, but also first, I noticed that people who are finishing the program quickly have a really good reason for finishing. Those who are taking a long time, they tend to think that it's something that they should do or ought to do, but it's not an absolute must. So I want to talk about how to make it a must. Before I go into that, just a brief story about kind of how I got to this. I've been a writing advisor for the University of Pennsylvania and the American University of Paris, where I also wrote a guide on how to write a master's thesis. And then I've been working with Bedford St. Martin on their writing textbooks for about 20 years. So I've really worked with different kinds of writing and revision, so that made me comfortable with it. But I didn't start out that way. I mean, in elementary school, I was in remedial reading and writing, and it took me years to really kind of catch up. So it's not to say that the people who finish or the people who do this have magic in any way or natural ability, which is what makes me, I think, a better teacher of this, because I had to learn it from scratch. So I hope to share with you, and hope some of the things I share with you are able to get you moving. The main difference with what I'm doing than a lot of the other guides or talks about finishing dissertations is that I'm not treating it like a disease, like how to get through it or how to survive it. The first thing that I think really helped me is I saw this process and see it still as a great privilege. How many people wish they could spend a few years studying a topic they chose, right? And if you have a scholarship, which is even fantastic, to help support you in doing that. Most people are tweeting half thoughts all day long, and you actually have the time to go deep. And more people are writing about how that's really going to be the skill that's going to be of interest in the future. People can actually not only just read data, but actually know what to do with it. And that's what you're going to be learning, and that's what you are learning in this process of writing a dissertation or a thesis or a paper, is how to go deep and really synthesize information. And you may feel like you're missing out from this quick-paced universe, but you'll hop right back in with something much deeper. So I wanted to talk about really encouraging you to see it as a privilege. The main thing I see between, as I said, people who finish and who are taking longer is having this like finishing mindset, making finishing a must. For me, my deadline was I must finish by the time my scholarship runs out. I just didn't want to keep working without being covered financially for it. Of course, not everyone can do that, but you can create your own must. I want to finish it by the time I'm 30, by the time I'm 40, by the time I have a baby, or before I have a baby, or before I get married. But to create that real marker for yourself. And then, when you know when you want to finish, one of the most helpful things I did, which someone advised me to do, was to say, this is when I want to graduate, then meet with my committee, my advisor, and say, let's create a calendar backwards. What would I have to have to you when to have me finish at this time? And so then together you create this calendar, and then you talk about it. You can use it and say, well, we're going to change it here or elongate it there. But having that calendar and sticking to it was what made a big difference for me. Yeah, this was something that I want to say that sounds trivial, but because I study narrative, or the way in which stories impact the way we see the world, people in your life might say things like, when they hear that you're doing a dissertation or research paper or thesis, oh my God, that must be terrible. And the temptation is just to say right back to them, oh my God, it is. Oh my God, I just feel like I'm carrying around this burden all the time. Well, it seems like a nice way to connect with people, but what happens, unfortunately, in the brain is it starts to pre-pave an experience of suffering for yourself. You start to tell yourself that this is an experience of suffering versus one of privilege. So really connecting with people and saying, yeah, it is a lot of work, but I'm so thankful to be able to be doing this. And there are challenges, but ones that I'm enjoying. If you can reframe that, it really ends up making your experience better. If you say it's going to be horrible, it tends to be that way. So one of the things that I think would be very helpful for people, if you don't have a finishing mindset or you're trying to figure out how to get it, is to think about the cost, and even talk about the costs of not finishing. And by costs, I mean it might be the financial cost. What are you not able to do with your time because you're doing this dissertation? What's the emotional cost in you, right, of carrying this around every day? How is it impacting your other relationships? What other opportunities are you not able to say yes to because you have this? How is it impacting your relationships at home, right, that you're carrying this around? And then a professor also said to me something very interesting. If you really want to get some good leverage over yourself, he said, I know a lot of people that haven't finished their dissertations, and they carry a lot of shame around that with them throughout their adult lives. And really for people to think about, do I want to finish this? And if I do, let's actually do it. And carrying around that weight might help you say, I don't want to, 10 years look back and say, why didn't I just sit down and finish that darn thing? Now, I do think there are cases where it's okay to walk away, but you have to be at peace with yourself with that and not be carrying around that shame your whole life. Then on the upside, really think of the benefits of finishing. Where are you going to be able to go? How good is it going to feel to actually say you did this and have it be your research? What's it going to mean for your friends and family? How proud will they be? How will you be able to help other people because of this research? So those are some of the other ones to think about, right? The cost of not finishing and the benefits of finishing. Then, on a more, when you're about to write, one of the lines I read in Jeff Davis's Journey to the Center of the Page, he talks about saying to yourself every time when you're about to write, what am I writing this for? What am I writing this for? And of course, often the first answer that shows up is just to finish the darn thing. But when you think about it, you start to connect with some deeper reasons. Like I asked a colleague why he wanted to finish, and he said to finish the darn thing. But when he reflected on it, he said, no, really, I'm a refugee, and I spent a lot of time interviewing other refugees, and I owe it to them to get their stories out. I really owe it to them. He also said, I really want to do it for my advisor. He's been so good for me, and I want to do it for him. So to really connect with some motivating factor within you, something led you to the research, to follow it and to finish it. I want to talk about actual writing strategies. So that's the mindset, which I think has to happen first, because just a strategy of writing is not going to make a difference if you don't have a real reason to finish. There's a great quote from The World According to Garp, if you've ever read John Irving, and it says, Garp did not write faster than anyone else, or even more. He simply worked with the idea of completion in mind. I read that book 20 years ago, but I always think about that when I'm writing. Yeah, Garp just worked with completion in mind. There are tons of crappy books and movies and TV shows that there are those people who are making them aren't smarter than you. You can definitely finish it. It's just that they have a finishing mindset. So that's something that you can acquire. Then I want to talk a little bit about myths about writing when you're actually sitting down. A lot of people believe they have to feel inspired to write. No, you don't need to be inspired to write. One famous short story writer said, I just go to the computer every day from 9 to 12 in case a good idea comes along. So that's her strategy for creative writing. Some people believe, and sometimes I believed, I could only work in certain conditions. I needed dead quiet and so on. But I found that I could do a lot of work in many different kinds of conditions. I need to know what I want to say before I sit down. Don't worry about that. A lot of things come while you're just sitting there. I also believe that writing this whole experience has to happen in isolation, and partnering with other friends and faculty really helped me get through. So this is something I wanted to say. Talk about support, getting support teams, not just your academic committee who may advise you on the actual mechanics of your writing, but actually other colleagues or other people that are trying to write. Either meet together and write together, or set up goals where you check in and text during the day. That made a very big difference to me. Other writing rituals that are just little things that can make a world of difference. One is every day before you close your computer, write down what your plan is for the next day. Do not wait until the next morning to open up your computer, because then you'll spend half an hour trying to figure out what to do that day. And it gets your mind to keep kind of working while you're sleeping, maybe on that project. So that's one. When you're setting the goals for the next day, while you're setting time, I'll work from 8 to 10, let's say, don't just set a time, set an actual amount that you want to finish. I want to revise the first 10 pages of part 1, for example, so an actual task. Otherwise, time can just you can fill any amount of time when you're writing. I also think texting people when you're during the day, like your writing buddies, to say how you're doing on your progress helps. The other, and this is major, this is major for me, turn off the Wi-Fi. Turn off the Wi-Fi, keep a pad next to your computer, and write down everything you think you had to look up while you were working. I wrote down lists, and it turned out that everything that I thought I had to have, I was able to look up later. It wasn't that urgent, but just keep a little notepad, but keep that Wi-Fi off. So that's really, really important. Or then set times when you can go on, but do not be poking around the internet. The other thing that really helps with writing and writing consistently, and this was advised to me as well, is give yourself rewards. You need to have small rewards for the end of the day and large rewards when you finish larger chunks. Seeing friends, going for runs, and exercising and dancing were my rewards for on a day-to-day basis. And I went to go see the Northern Lights in Alaska when I finished a big chunk of my dissertation to reward myself that way. That really teaches yourself that like you will be rewarded for your hard work rather than punished. So that was good. A note about that, though, is not just to use food as your reward, because it can be a very slippery slope if you're sitting all the time and then eating junk food as your reward. I don't know if you've heard the expression that sitting is the new smoking, and it really, like, we now know the impact of sitting it can be really detrimental over time. So you want to be getting up every 25 minutes. I set a timer, actually, and I do certain exercises. Peter Agoscu has a method that I use, but there's a lot of different things you can do just to move. If you're drinking lots and lots of water, you're going to have to go to the bathroom every 30 minutes anyway, which is great. But you are on a long distance journey when you're writing, and you really want to be optimizing your food. You want to be eating whole grains. I could talk about this for hours, but I won't. The other is a lot of people want to drink to release the stress, but alcohol does kill a lot of brain cells that are hard to replace. So you kind of need your brain. So heavy drinking is probably not going to be helping you. Beyond that, I'm just going to close this out. I have much more I can offer you, so you can email me if you have questions or areas where you're getting stuck or ideas that you think would work for other people. Please do let me know. We'll have my email at the end of this. But I just want to give you a couple emergency tactics if you're absolutely stuck. So here are 4 tactics you can use when you feel you can't move forward. The first is something that a friend of mine mentioned. He could not get himself to finish his dissertation. He had taken off a year and he couldn't get started again. He was so hated that he had to do it. He hated the topic. He didn't want to start again. And he said what got him going is he wrote the acknowledgments. He sat down and wrote the name of every person who contributed to him on this journey. And he said he was so moved when he thought about those people and what they meant to him and what they gave to him that he didn't want to let them down. And he really wanted to finish. And he just felt filled with appreciation. So that's one. Write the acknowledgments page. Then the other is to set a minimum every day. Like, at the very least, I'm going to pick up a draft of my dissertation or a draft of my outline and walk around the room with it. Just acknowledging the task in a physical way actually keeps your brain engaged with it. So that's another one. Just even a minimum. Even days you want to do nothing, just do something. Open up the computer and just write one sentence. That's really important. The other one which has worked, Chloe McDonough, who's a renowned coach and family therapist, used this with a client. She had a client who couldn't finish her dissertation. And during her sessions with the woman, Chloe discovered that she really didn't like her sister-in-law. So Chloe made an agreement with the woman and said, okay, you think you need to do 10 pages a day to finish by the date you want to finish. Every day you don't reach 10 pages, I want you to send money or send card or do something nice for your sister-in-law. The woman did not want to do this. She really did not like her sister-in-law, but begrudgingly she complied. And not only did she finish her dissertation, but she actually totally transformed her relationship with her sister-in-law because she had been having to do all these nice things for this woman. So I liked that procedure as well. The other one someone suggested to me recently was, if you absolutely feel no passion for your topic, find someone you don't know and explain to them what you're researching. Somehow explain to somebody new and trying to sell them on what's exciting actually can sell yourself back into why it matters. So those are just 4 little ones. I can go into more details. I'll go into more details with people with actually how you do the planning and the research and the lit reviews and all that. But this is just basic, getting in the right mindset, and then some basic writing tactics that will move you forward. Thanks for listening and good luck.